Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the Nexar Beam dashcam. Now the Nexar Beam dashcam is a smart GPS camera for your car. And if you've been around on this channel for a while, you'll know that I've previously reviewed dashcams from people like Apeman, and generally I think they're a really useful thing to have in your car. What sets the Nexar Beam apart from other dash cameras, however, is that it has this principle that you should be able to access that footage on your phone. This effectively makes this one of the first smart dashcams. And its kind of principle is to get rid of that need of having to take a memory card out and finding a memory card reader every time you want to view some footage from your dashcam. Because actually, what would happen if it was all right there on your phone already? So the Nexar Beam costs about £95, although they do regularly do discounts, and you can also find refurb versions that cost less. In the box you get an 11.5-foot cable, which is plenty long enough for connecting to most cars. You get a 9-volt charger with an extra USB port so you don't lose that charging ability in your car by adding a dashcam. You get a spludger to help you hide the cables, and you get some cable clips. Of course, you also get the dashcam itself. So let's talk about the design of the dashcam. So the design of an Nexar Beam is pretty simple. It's a small black unit with rounded edges. On the front of it you've got the lens, which of course you never see because it's pointing out of your car, and then the back of it has a couple of indicator lights to show you when it's connected and when it's recording. On one side you've got a vent just for air circulating through the device and keeping it nice and cool, and then on the other side you've got an SD card slot. One of the nice things about this camera is it comes with a 32GB SD card. And I know I said that you didn't need to remove the SD card because the footage syncs to your phone, but the SD card basically acts as a backup. So if you're in parking mode or your dashcam can't connect to your phone, then it backs up the footage to that memory card and syncs it to your phone at a later date. And then of course the top of it is where you attach the suction mount and the USB connector. I've been using this for about a month and I found the suction pad sticks really well and hasn't fallen off yet, even in the kind of varying humidity that we've been having in this country the last few weeks. Getting it all set up is pretty easy, and it's as simple as kind of following some of the instructions that come with it or on the app, but basically you just need to download the Nexar app and connect to it that way. In terms of hiding those cables, it does give some handy tips, but I found that basically using that spludger to poke them into your car interior worked pretty well. What I did find, however, is that because my car has a slightly bumpy interior, particularly with the plastic, the cable clips just didn't work at all. And when I was looping it under the driver footwell, I just used some cable ties that I had kicking around just to tie it up nice and securely. So let's talk about some of the features of the Nexar Beam. So the Nexar Beam has GPS built in, which is particularly useful for adding a location to your video. It can shoot video at 1080p, and it can also record audio. It has detection for particular events, so things like hard braking and accidents, and it also has parking mode. Now how useful parking mode is kind of depends on the battery life and how far you drive when you use it to make sure it's charged up enough to activate parking mode. But I've found a couple of times parking mode has been activated, usually by me driving a different car slightly close to the front of my car. It has worked. One of the things the Nexar Beam does lack, and you'll have noticed this already compared to other dashcams, is an on-device screen. Now the reason it doesn't have this is because you can use your phone as a live on-device screen if you have a mount for your phone and you want to do it that way. Personally, that's not something I'm bothered by because I actually just like having that footage later on if I need it, and I've always found the screens a little bit distracting. But once you've done all the setup on your phone and you've worked through the app and you've hidden your cables, using it is as simple as getting in your car, making sure you've got your phone with you and going for a drive. The Nexar Beam automatically starts recording, although there is typically a slight delay between you getting in your car, starting it and driving off and it actually kicking in. This kind of depends on how long you leave your engine running idle before you drive away. I tend to just get in and go. This isn't a massive delay, however, and it's probably about 30 seconds at most. From then on, all of your drives are automatically ended and started, and that video is sunk to your phone in real time. If you want to, you can use your phone as the viewfinder, but that isn't something I've used. And then in terms of settings, there's not really much to play around with here because you don't really need much. And all of those settings are carried out on the phone app. Some of these options include limiting the amount of memory the Beam can use on your iPhone. And there's also options for turning off recording video and turning off recording audio. For example, I've turned off recording audio because it isn't really something that I want. That GPS sensor combined with the parking mode and using it on your phone also puts a marker in your map as to where you've parked your car. This is particularly useful in large car parks where you might lose your car. Of course, if you're an Apple user and your car has Bluetooth or CarPlay, then your phone already does this in the Maps app. And of course, when you stop, the camera automatically activates its parking mode. All of this basically means that once you've got the beam set up, it just sits on your windscreen and you do nothing about it. Everything else is done within the app. So let's talk about the app, because a good app is something that really makes a device. And this is something that Nexar has clearly thought about. So the app is pretty simple and it has three main screens. The first screen is the activity screen, and this is where you can view your clips and also view your complete drives. If you run out of allocated memory, then your phone will automatically delete the older one and start with the newer ones, but it doesn't clear your clips. So the full drives option is where you can just click into one of your drives and relive that. Perhaps there was someone who really cut you up and you wanted to grab their number plate, you could just skip through that video and find that particular moment. And then you've got clips. Now clips are things that are both automatically generated and things you can create yourself. So if you go into your full drive and someone did cut you up, you can select a clip from that and save that into your clips. Clips are automatically uploaded to the Nexar cloud for free. There's also some options to share those with your insurance provider and to set up your insurance provider in the app. However, there's not many who actually support this yet. The other thing you find in clips is where there are smart clips. These are clips that are created by the Nexar app on the fly for events that happened. So one example would be a parking event. If someone was to knock your car while it was left parked, that clip would sync to your phone next time you were to get in your car and use the Nexar Beam. You'd then be able to look in your clips and see that there was a parking incident. Likewise, it automatically detects clips for things like hard braking, and so you can see an incident here where I braked a little bit too hard and it told me off basically. These smart features are really nice because it basically automatically creates a clip of an event it thinks you're going to want to know about in the future. And this is one of those things where having a smart dashcam over a kind of traditional dashcam actually makes a really big difference. The second mode in the app is drive mode, which lets you start a drive and set up navigation. This is a good way of combining maps and footage from your Nexar Beam. As someone who uses CarPlay, this isn't really a feature that I've used, but it's nice to have it if you just rely on having your phone mounted to your dashboard. And then finally, the More tab you've seen plenty of already, because that's where all the settings are and where you can do things like adjust your account details and turn off and off video and audio recording. And that's it really. So what is the verdict on the Nexar Beam? For me, the Nexar Beam is an absolutely brilliant product and I've been really impressed. And it basically solves all my frustrations with traditional dashcams of having to take memory cards out and find a memory card reader just to grab a bit of footage. Having all of it straight on your phone and being able to share clips to kind of friends or family or upload to Dropbox or something is really, really useful. It's worth saying it's only clips you can do that with and not full drives, but you could just create a very long clip. The video quality, as you've seen throughout this video, is really crisp and clear and just looks really, really good. The wide angle is wide enough to capture all of the road you want it to, and it even performs well at night or in darker settings. The only thing you'll really need to look out for if you're going to buy one of these, especially if you want to make use of that video syncing with your phone feature, is how much memory your phone actually has. And that's because video can take up a huge amount of space. So if you've got something like an 8 gig or a 16 gig iPhone, you might want to just think about how you're going to use that memory better and how much you've currently got free. And then the only thing I'd have really liked to see would have been the option for a rear camera that perhaps sits on your back windscreen. This isn't something Nexar offer, and one of their products does offer a kind of in-cab camera as well. So you've got a camera facing out and a camera facing in. But of course, if you've got passengers who are tall, that won't actually really capture much anything behind your car anyway. And I don't think many of your passengers would be happy at being filmed. And that's probably aimed at someone who's being like an Uber driver or something. All in all, however, this is a brilliant dashcam packed with features and an app that is really well thought out. And if you're in the market for a new dashcam, especially one that actually syncs the video to your phone without having to faff around with memory cards, then I'd certainly look at the Nexar Beam. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, do stick them below and I will try and answer those. Please like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.